The Pescatarian Pedro. Wait for it.
Hey, I gotta get on the dock.
How's the pickup coming along?
Picking up is good. The catch is horrible.
The catch is slow?
Terrible.
You have until May 1st, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna be out before then.
Okay. Guys, Captain Pedro. Hey, I hope you're doing videos of all this.
Yes, I am.
Bro, I want them to see that. I want to see that.
Hey guys, so after this trip, when we were picking up the traps, we got back to the marina and we were boarded by FWC and they were there checking all the boats. And to be honest, I was so focused on all the work that I had to do to get all those traps off the boat and keep going. I mean, you're seeing in the videos that it's multiple trips a day that I didn't hit record at all on any of the cameras. They were all set up, but luckily Alfred was able to record it on his channel, and he was there recording at Black Point. And if you haven't checked out Alfred's channel, then I'll tell you, you guys are missing out. He has incredible content that he puts out on his channel, and it is amazing footage. And I'll be honest with you, he has been the true inspiration for us trying to create our YouTube channel and follow, you know, this journey on YouTube. So here, guys, the reason why we're going we're in such a hurry is because we need to get on that dock. We need to take these traps off, offload them, put them away, and come back for another trip. Now, the reason why we're in such a hurry is because we had to, we're picking up the traps now at the last days of the season, right? So we had to get on that dock. We have to offload them, run them to the house, come back, put the boat back in the water, and go and leave again. And the thing is that once you get to the end of the season, so crab season runs from October 15th through May 1st. Now, after May 1st, you're not allowed to harvest any more crab. You still get a week grace period that you can pick up the traps, but you can't bring back any of the crabs. So we were under the gun to try to get all these traps out before the last day, because all the little bit of crab that we're catching really goes straight to our fuel bills. So as I was tying off the boat, I looked over to the dock next to us and I saw the two FWC officers. They kept looking over at me, so I knew they were gonna come over. And you could see them here walking briskly across to come to our boat to check us. Now, before I jump into and explain everything that FWC checked on the boat that day and other things that they do check when they do board your vessel, I really want to say and give a shout out to the men and women of FWC. Do an amazing job out there, really checking for boating safety, which all of that brings awareness to boating safety, and really long term it helps reduce accidents on the water. And living here in Florida and being out on the boat as much as I am, there's so many accidents that happen on a daily basis that could be avoided. It with just a little bit more awareness. So they're really driving the safety awareness. And then on top of that, also as a commercial fisherman, really love to see that they're checking the traps, checking the licenses. We get so many people that poach the traps and they steal from the traps. So when they're out there checking these things and checking the tags on the traps, they really help mitigate the people that are thinking about robbing from us on the traps or even stealing our traps. Because they get caught, that's a felony, right? So I love seeing that. I love seeing them checking, you know, all the different crab and lobster and fish sizes, because really what that drives is longevity and sustainability to all of these species, you know. And as somebody who spends their time on the water, I want my grandkids and my great-grandkids to be able to do the same thing and be able to go out and catch fish and lobster and crab and be able to enjoy these awesome resources that we have in Florida. So huge shout out to the men and women of FWC. So right here as they approach the boat, what they ask me for, the first thing they're gonna ask me for, seeing that I'm a commercial vessel, is they wanna see my commercial fishing license. And what they wanna check for on the commercial fishing license is, number one, that I have an RS endorsement on it, which stands for restricted species, which is what is needed to be able to harvest stone crab, along with the X number, which is the commercial stone crab number, that it matches the boat and the license and the traps. And then the officer went over to the front of the boat and they checked the FL numbers to make sure that the registration, which is under my name, matches the FL numbers and the registration when they call it into the system. And then he looked on the roof there, and the reason why he looks on the roof is they want to make sure that you have your commercial number has to be on the roof as well, along with your buoy color, the circle. And you can see we have the placard there in our rod holder so they could see it from a side profile. But from an aerial profile, the boat needs to also have your X number and the circle for the buoy, so that when they're flying the planes and they're watching the work that you're doing, they could tell if you're pulling your own traps or not. Then from inside the binder here, I've got my Yeti binder. It's a Yeti book bag. And the officer just asked me if he can, what do I have in the cooler? I told him, go ahead and, you're more than welcome to get on the boat and go ahead and open it. It's drinks and go look at it. But what the other officer is asking me for now is the boat registration, the trailer registration. And I have all of that in my, I keep it in a Yeti backpack to make sure that it doesn't get wet. So a waterproof bag, and inside there I've got a binder, and that binder I've got everything. I've got all the licenses and permits for both commercial fishing and for charter fishing. So I've got the boat registration, trailer registration, the EPIRB registration with NOAA, and the EPIRB is it's a beacon device that's required for all commercial vessels. So if the boat is sinking or you're in distress, it could call the Coast Guard. I've got my first aid certification, which is required as a charter captain. The drug test consortium, all the captains, you have to be registered for random drug tests. My charter captain's license, all the NOAA federal fishing permits, and those are so that you could fish in federal waters, which is more than 3 miles offshore here on the Atlantic side. And then I have all the paperwork from all the tags that I purchased that were not mine. So throughout the year, you purchase tags from someone else, they have their number on it, and you get paperwork on it that you purchased those. And so right here, what the officer's doing, he's looking at the trap and he's saying, hey, this trap doesn't have a tag. And I'm taking that out of my cup holder, and they know this. These tags that they came out with, it's like a zip tie, and the crabs just chew them apart, and they break them off of the trap. And I've got them there in the cup holder, the broken ones. And now here, what he's doing is he's looking through all of the traps, and he's scratching off the growth that's on the tag so that he could clearly read the number and make sure that the number matches my license, which is great that they do this, because if somebody's stealing traps, they're going to catch them like this, because the number on that tag is not going to be their license number for stone crab. At this point, the FWC officer was done checking all the traps that he wanted to check, and we have our crab right there, and we keep our crab in buckets with seawater in it, in the claws. And he asked me if he could look at them and measure them. I said, yeah, go ahead and measure them. You know, they ask you, do you measure the claws? Yeah, I measure every single one. And so he's going through with the gauge right now, measuring the claws in the bucket. I mean, they don't measure every single one. Obviously, the ones that are, you know, jumbo and colossal, you know, they're bigger than the gauge. So he was just setting those aside. And what they want to do is check them to make sure that there's no undersized or illegal claws that we harvested. Now, if you missed the video where I show you how to measure the crab, I'm going to drop that in here, the audio, explaining how you measure the stone crab claws, since you can't really see what he's doing there on the bow of the boat with the stone crab claws. So when you're going to measure the claw, make sure you have the right gauge, and you could find the up-to-date information on the FWC website. I'm going to put a link for it in the description. So whenever you're watching this video, you could go on their website and you could get the most up-to-date measurements for the crab. And when you go to buy your crab gauge, make sure you check it, because they changed the size and they increased it. And there's a lot of places that were still selling the old size. So make sure you go ahead and measure it and you double check the gauge that you buy. But what you want to do is you want to take, and I'll put it up here close to the camera so you could see, you've got this is the crab claw, and this has already been broken off. And the bottom of the claw, right, this is the stationary part of the claw, it doesn't move, has that little knuckle right here. You see where it turns right here. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to get your gauge right on the bottom of that, and then you want to touch, let me turn this around so you guys can see it, is what you want to do is you want to put your crab onto that part of the gauge right here. Okay, and as you can see, this crab right here, I'll put the gauge on the other side, this crab exceeds the gauge. Now, if the claw, if this was on this little bottom knuckle right here, this little bone right here, or you know, shell, and the claw were to fall below the gauge like this, then that would be an illegal size claw. It's too short. So when you clip it here and it's touching the little shell on the bottom where the knuckle is, the crab has to exceed the end of the gauge for it to be a good claw. You know, the other thing that they check for, this officer that's checking the claws checked me not too long ago. So he already checked all of my safety equipment and all that. But another thing that they will do is that they're going to check, you know, obviously if you have any fish or lobster or crab, any seafood items on the boat, they're going to check that and check your licenses. But they're also going to check your safety equipment. So your flares, your life jackets, all of that required information that you should have on the boat from a safety standpoint, your throw ring for the vessel. He's up there right now in the bow where I have my throw ring is clipped right up there so he could see it. And he saw me a couple months ago. You know, he knows it's got 600 feet of line on it, but they check all of that. And if you have questions on that, guys, we have a video that I did in our Boating 101 series where we talk about the life jackets, the different types of life jackets, the, you know, what each life jacket purpose and use is for, along with every one of the flares, from smoke flares, parachute flares, the 12 gauge flares, all of that stuff. So if you have any questions, I would say go check that out in our Boating 101 series. We cover all of that to explain it to you, but they check all of that as well when they're doing the boating inspection. All right, guys, so there you have it. Hopefully this is going to bring some awareness to you on what you should, you know, kind of have on your boat and kind of know what the FWC officers are going to check when they come on your boat. And I got to tell you, I know I've said it, I'm going to give them another shout out to all the men and women of FWC. You know, I don't have any problems when they come and they check me. I know they're doing their job, and we always follow the letter of the law and everything we're supposed to have. So I have no issues. And to be honest with you, if there's anybody from FWC watching and you ever see me on the boat with my son, he loves it when you guys come to check because he wants to show off the catch. You don't know how many times he wants to get stopped to show off a swordfish, to open that fish box and there's a 200-pound swordfish in the box that he wants to show off to FWC. So if you guys see us on the boat and he's on the boat, come on by because he wants to show off the catch. But seriously, to all the men and women of FWC, thank you for what you do out there on the water. And then guys, I want to thank you for watching. If you missed the video of us pulling out the traps on the day that this happened, I'm going to go ahead and link it at the end of this one. Thank you for watching and stay safe out there.